All right, we're getting ready to start. As you can tell, it's raining. We got it tarped off somewhat. And we'll switch it around here so you can see the pin. We got the front cover off and you can see the pin actually. There she is. So it doesn't look like it broke it just yet. Looks like it just came out. So, but we still got to take it all apart and replace all this stuff. The first step is just lifting it up. Yeah, we're going to speed up this part of the video here. This is it's jacking it up. It took us approximately 20 minutes to do it safely. Basically what we did first, we lifted the engine and the frame of the tractor up higher than the axle. The idea was that we could pick the axle up and put the pin in, and it worked out pretty good for us actually. But if you're not if you don't have the capability to pick up a couple hundred pounds and hold it pretty steady, this is not the way to do it. You really need to jack up both pieces and work them together. Fortunately, Josh and myself were physically able to do this, but we were able to get it jacked up. And once we got it lined up roughly in the position we wanted it to be in, that's when we decided to go ahead and take the body panels off. The body panels come off in 4 screws, 4 separate areas. If you have any mechanical ability at all, this isn't a difficult process. We chose not to separate the hood from the fenders for obvious reasons. You can take off, there's 2 bolts down below the radiator that holds the panel in place, and then there's 4 up around the speedometer case, and there's these 4 right here down by the ignition. So far we've taken the fenders and the sheet metal off. There's a screw up there in the front. Right there. The 4 we showed previously. And then there's 2 at the bottom. It's raining, I'd go out there and show you. Right down there at the bottom of that. Got those nuts out, took it apart, pried it out, lifted it off. We jacked it up high enough. The fan was smashed around the shroud. The shroud bolts to the radiator. You can tell where it pushed it up in there and busted the radiator. But the next step is to make sure these bushings are good, get the motor in place, put the bushings in, get the pin in it, and then start putting it back together with new water pumps and everything. So we'll be back.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
You don't line up?
Nope.
It's far off of it.
It's like the hole's halfway up the hole. Let me see it going.
Yeah, as we just went through that part of the video, we removed the old water pump, the fan, and the new fan. I mean, the the new water pump, the tolerances on this is incredible for something that's this old. I mean, there was in order to start the bolts in, we did what would be the passenger side or the right side of the tractor first. There's only 3 bolts. There's one on the passenger side or the right side, directly underneath it, and then on the left side. We basically did it right, bottom, and left because going the other way for some reason it wouldn't fit. And the base part of the water pump where the neck is with the impeller in it, it touches the thermostat housing on the top. In a previous video, I changed the thermostat in this already, but it's pretty easy to tell that the tolerances are still pretty tight on this. For something as old as it is, and to have that tight of tolerance is amazing. Some of the problems you might run into, we ran into with the actual radiator here. The tractor itself, it's worn. You know, it's what 60 something years old, and the 2 mounting brackets at the bottom. There's 2 bolts at the bottom that hold it in. It's got rubber bushings and a shoe, but that's basically it. Everything else fits around it. It just sits there that way. The fan shroud itself gets connected. It's not a plug and play. It gets connected to the radiator. We flushed it out, ran some new fluids in them. But we got it bolted on there, and we had to adjust a few things. You know, you might have to shim it right or left because, you know, it's hard to believe this, but that tractor belonged to somebody before me, and they weren't quite as gentle with it as I am. It's becoming more and more obvious. But as things come up on this tractor, as if anybody who has an older tractor, car, whatever, if you take the time to replace it correctly, it'll be around a while. You know, I'm pretty sure that water pump and fan is the original ones on there. I know it's the original radiator because it's still got the stamp numbers on it. But if you do take the time to put it in, put proper things back, make sure you do it right. Don't half repair something or put a Band-Aid on something that shouldn't be. You'll have this piece of equipment for a long, long time, and that's our goal here with this one. So I'd like to take the time to thank Josh. The kid's amazing. The reason why we don't have a whole lot of verbal back and forth with one another is because we've worked together for quite some time. And it's really nice having somebody who thinks the way I think, does things the way I do. And I learn as much from him as he does for me now. So it's really a pleasure working with Josh, to say the least.
stuff.